I am super excited. I've been asking for something like this for about 6 months now. Look at it. Look at it in all of its glory. Compared to something like this. We don't need anything like this anymore. This is ridiculous. This is the future. Talking about the Turnigy Evolution, the new bad boy on the block, the transmitter that's going to kill other transmitters, or so we hope. Now this is something I've been asking for about 6 months now, because I really hated the large size of the Tyrannus because it's really uncomfortable. It's not ergonomic, doesn't fit your hand well, and it's heavy. This transmitter right here, this one weighs in at 870 grams, whereas the Turnigy Evolution weighs in at 345 grams. So way less than even half of the Tyrannus. And that's not counting the case, because I'm not worried about the case. The case is good for protecting it while it's in the bag, but I'm just worried about the weight when I'm holding it. And I'm really worried about the weight because unlike the Tyrannus, the Evolution does not have a way to add a strap. You're gonna have to jerry rig some way to add a strap if you want that. Now I do like the straps, so that's going to be something I'm gonna have to adjust to, because the straps give you a level playing field every time. Every time you go out to fly, you can have that strap on and it will set your controller at the exact same level each and every time. It gives you consistency, and I feel like that gives you better performance overall. But that's something that they're sacrificing. This is $220 or more dollars versus $67. So you're going to lose some features to gain this form factor and that price point. Now, taking a look at the Turnigy, it is super comfortable. If you've ever played a game console like the PlayStation or the Xbox, this is going to feel extremely natural to you. And that's great, because I think the future of this sport is going to be bringing more and more gamers into it, because it's a very fluid transition, especially if you have controllers like this. Now it only has 3 switches, so you have a total of 8 channels that you can work with. That's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, and then I guess 8. The gimbals themselves, they are actually smaller than the Tyrannus. The Tyrannus gimbals have about a good centimeter on them as far as width and the movement. So I'm not sure how that's going to feel, but we'll see today, because I'm going to go out and fly it today after I install the new receiver. like the Tyrannus, the Turnigy Evolution does come with a receiver shipped. It is a TGY i8 6C 2.4 gigahertz receiver. 8 channels, power input is 4 to 6.5 volts, and the weight is approximately 7.9 grams. I actually came in at 8.2 when I weighed it on my scale, and then with the cover off it was 6.8. Now this is pretty large. This is not going to fit in my quad the way the the FR Sky XSR will. Let me get that. Now this is the XSR right here. And the XSR is 4 grams with the wires included on it. This is 6.8 without the cover. So, just to give you a little idea. It's ginormous. Let's go ahead and take the cover off and compare. And then you got these two side by side. So if you're running really small setups, pod setups, you're gonna have a hard time figuring out where to mount this. XSR, the TX, blah blah blah. The receiver is installed right there at the back. As you can see, it's really big. It doesn't really fit. I didn't take the time to depin it because I'm still not sure 100% if this is the controller for me. So until I'm 100% sure, I'm going to leave it as pain-free as possible. And now I'm going to rig these up. Usually I run them down underneath, but because I'm going to be doing a range test and everything, I'm going to actually run them up using some zip ties and some heat shrink. Forgot to put this in there for the support. Way to go, Justin. We're going to start over because Justin is an idiot. This would be about the angle I'd be flying at, right about there. And those antennas will be pointed straight up. So we'll take it out, get some flight footage and some stick footage and do a range test. It's a cloudy day, hopefully it's not going to rain on me, but let's get out there quick and find out. Actually, one last thing before I go out. I don't like these sticks. I didn't like them on the Tyrannus either. I don't like the grips. I don't like the feel. I do come from a gaming background, and I used to use Control Freak, where they are they're extras you buy, and so I'm going to replace them. And the last thing I'm going to do is change up the stick color. You see the stick colors down there? So they move. That's kind of cool, I guess. No, I'm gonna leave it. We'll leave it for now. So I just had an RSSI issue or something, I think, because it just locked up in the air. I think I just had an RSSI issue. Yeah, I definitely had an RSSI issue because my antennas are gone. They got chopped off. So, of course, I had an RSSI issue. Alright, heading out to the actual field to do some range testing. Now I did chop up my RX antennas down to, they were like 5 inches, 6 inches long, and I chopped them down to about 2 inches long on accident. Just, I guess, a zero throttle maneuver, and they just bent too much and got caught in the props. So I ended up clearing about 3/4 of an inch from the coil wire and set it back up. So just tested in the backyard. I got plenty of distance for the backyard at least, but going to the field. Here we go. Alright, made it to the field. That took about 2 minutes, not far at all. You can almost see the house from over there. It's just right next to that house. So I'm gonna set up at one end right about here. I may set up in the shade over there. And then if you can see it, all the way down there is a lake. And I think it's about 1,000 feet. I'll pull up Google Maps and I'll map it out later. But I'm gonna fly down that way and see how far I can get before the quad drops out of the sky. Let's find out. After a full day of flying, I must say I still really like it. It took me a few batteries probably to get used to it. I think it's mostly to do with the sticks being smaller. I'm not sure if it's the sticks smaller. Actually, I think it's more to do with the gimbals. They are smaller gimbals than your Tyrannus. That's what I'm going to compare it to, because that's what I use. But they are, these right here is 20.4 millimeters across and 21.8 millimeters up and down, versus the Tyrannus, which is 24.6 millimeters and 25.8 millimeters. So it's about 4 millimeters difference as far as size and stick throw. So you don't have as much stick throw as you do on the Tyrannus. If you do notice that being smaller, you can always do what I did on my PlayStation controller. If you want more of a stick throw, you don't like how quick you hit to the edges, you add little extenders on. Now on the, see, when you add the extenders, these on, now it feels like you have more stick throw. That's just because you have longer sticks. The cool thing about the Turnigy though is they're adjustable. All you have to do is screw them off a little bit and you can adjust your stick throw that way. So it'll give you more throw to get to your end of your ranges. Now, why would you want to do that? So I like to compare it to first-person shooters. If you're a sniper and a first-person shooter, you don't want a short stick throw because that means every one of your movements is very touchy. And as a sniper, you want very precise movements. So the longer your stick throw is, the longer your sticks are, the more range of motion you have, and so you get finer ranges of motion with a longer stick. Now I already did the pincher test. This is not a pincher quad, and the reason being is because when you're at full throttle, I'm not even at full throttle, and my finger is locked up against the screen. Now that's going to be a bummer, but they do have, or so I've heard, they have a pincher version coming out. I'm not sure if that means they're going to remove the screen or angle the screen differently. Hopefully they'll do something to make you pinchers out there happy. But if you're a thumber, this has been a great controller. It feels really solid. The gimbals are nice. They're not as tight as the Tyrannus, for instance. Now what I mean by tightness, now pushing up, it's relatively easy to push up and to the side. And on the Tyrannus, it's not as easy to push up. The springs are a little bit tighter, and you may be able to go into this, pop it off right here, and tighten the springs to make that tighter. I don't know. I'm not going to do that yet. Maybe another video. Stick resolution is 4096. That's the exact same as the Tyrannus, so there's no loss in resolution there. One thing I didn't like at first was this doesn't come, this is your throttle, it doesn't come with the tactile feel that the Tyrannus does. So you get the click, 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 click on the Tyrannus when you're throttling up, throttling down. On this one, it's buttery smooth. And at first, it really threw me off because I'm used to the tactile feel. But after 5 or 6 batteries, I didn't even notice it anymore. Now, Turnigy, when I bought this, was going for $67. I think it was a little over $70 shipped. And I just checked back today, and now it's going for $63. Now, I don't know why they lowered the price, but jump on those savings if you're interested in getting it. Alright, so I really did like the Turnigy Evolution. Flying it today, I put 10 to 12 batteries through it. It was great. My only 2 gripes, really, the only 2 gripes I have are that there is nowhere to put a strap. I'm going to have to rig something up because I have to have a strap if I'm going to be standing up. Otherwise, I feel like I'm drunk flying because I can't get my arms in a comfortable position. I can't relax. I have to be holding this, and then when I'm flying, I'm moving around. When I have that strap, it's like it's grounding me in place when I'm standing up. So I had to actually fly sitting down today. When I go out to fly, I don't have to carry a chair with me. I want to be able to just hit a location and burn a couple batteries and then move on, hit a location, burn a couple batteries. If you can stand up and fly, you can fly anywhere. Now, my other gripe with the Turnigy Evolution wasn't with the controller itself. My gripe was that their receiver that they sent with it was humongous. It was just so large. Now, if you have a pod-sized quad, like an X pod, you're going to have difficulties replacing your current receiver with it. And it's basically proprietary. You can't fly Tyrannus FR Sky receivers with it. You can't fly Spectrum receivers with it. There's been talks in the forums that you can fly Fly Sky with it, but no one's confirmed it yet. They're still waiting on the product to get in for them to test it. Someone asked me if it was compatible with Crossfire. I don't know. I couldn't find the answer to that for you. I'm sorry, and I don't have a Crossfire. If you want to send me one, I'll let you know. This is a 5 model controller, so if you have tons of quads and different models, 5's the max. This is for multi-rotors only too, so in the menus, there's no expo, there's no rates that you can change in the menu. The flight controllers handle that for our quads most of the time now anyways, so they did make this a little less functional, but you got the better form factor for that. Battery life on this thing was good. I have 3/4 of battery left after 10 to 12 batteries, and I never turned it off throughout all the flying sessions. So between batteries, when I was farting around, playing with videos, playing on my phone, this was still on, and I'm still at 3/4 video, or 3/4 battery. So I kind of imagine this being a good controller for 20 to 30 batteries or a full weekend of flying. And that's about all I ever need, so I'm really happy with the battery life. So overall, I'm really happy with the Turnigy Evolution. I'm going to definitely figure something out to be able to put a strap. I'm thinking for now it's going to be something like zip ties around and then just attach right there. Something to make it work. I'll mod it out right now, and maybe somebody will come up with a 3D printed part to, make us happy for straps. So guys, thanks for watching. This is the first product review video I've ever done. I hope you liked it. If you didn't, I'm sorry, and maybe I'll get better. Subscribe. I'll get better. I promise. And if you did like it, like the video, leave a comment, and make sure to subscribe. Alright, range test is over. We're gonna have some fun. Whoa! popped off in that crash.